Yerushalmi Shekalim. In the article, as edition, supposed to start from line Beis Amud Aleph today, but I'm going to start from line Aleph on Beis, third line from the bottom, so you can see the machlokas which we're going to discuss between Rav Zira and Rabbi Ba about our Mishnah. And that in the Vilna Yerushalmi is somewhere on the Yud Tes Amud Aleph. I think the middle of the page. You have to look for it, but in the Vilna Bavli Yerushalmi, it is 10 lines from the bottom of. No, it's more than that. It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 lines by little vav from the bottom of Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Okay, by little above. So Rabbi Zira said the Rav Chuna b'Seim Rav said, "Pligim in our machlekes, in our Mishnah, or the machlekes of Rabbi Yeshua, is a makdish nechasav. Is when you're makdish nechasim, whether it's not, it's a bedek abayis, it's all the bedek abayis, or partially to the mizbech. Av a makdish edro, you're makdish your herd of animals. Come a even Rabbi Lezer concedes shul mizbech. It goes to the mizbech. Rabba said, Rav said, no. Makdish and makdish edro. The machlekes is by when you're makdish your herd. That Rabbi Lezer still holds that it goes to bedek abayis. Rabbi Yeshua holds, of course, it goes to kacham mizbech. Ava makdish nechasav, you're makdish all your property without differentiating between the animals and the rest of the property. Come a even Rabbi Yeshua concedes shul bedek abayis. Everything goes to bedek abayis. Okay, so the Gemara says, "Al daiti Rabbi Zera nicha." According to Rabbi Zera, fine. I understand the Mishnah. We are okay with understanding Mishnah according to Rabbi Zera, but the kasha Rabbi Ba. But I understand according to Rabbi Ba. How does this work out? Beim alav mizbechi. How can you possibly say that according to the Makdish Edro that Rabbi Lezer is going to hold it's going to go to Bedek HaBayis. Now you do have to point out, like Talkin Charat and other Bachronim point out, there's another problem with Rabbi Ba, because Rabbi Ba the Mishnah said Olos Shana Chosim Bedek HaBayis. So it says that we tell you about other property as well, not just Makdish Edro. So like the Talkin Charat says, they talk about Lotanim Shana Chosim Asnisin. You have to say that that's not he didn't have that in our Mishnah. So Mukei B'chai Gam Leko Shana Chosim Pli. Achim Tatsa B'Tmur Shom, and evidently that the Bavli says that explicitly in Tomorrow. Okay, but so the Gemara says, Beim Lemizbeachi. Now I like to go with the Girsa. You know, Rav Chaim doesn't change the Girsa here, but the Gra, the Talkin Chada didn't do. So he says here the way it's supposed to be read is Hamakdish Behem Lemizbeach. Somebody is Makdish Behem Lemizbeach. Then he says Omer Lamizbeach, right? Therefore, or even it says Behem Lamizbeach. Then you have to explain it the same way. Reb Chaim explains it. Explains it that even though his behema is mizbeach, since he didn't specify it, but v'lama sasam isha zeh kshu omer lo ye'el bedek habayis. Even though behema is mizbeach, but this person didn't say it explicitly. But it's goes much more glot like the gra. It says makdish behema lemizbeach. So he's makdish animal lemizbeach. Omer lemizbeach. He says the mizbeach. He. Why is this person saying so he's saying explicitly by not saying the zech, which normally he would say, that it goes to Bedek HaBayis. Now Rabbi Yochanan Omar lo shani hi amakdish lechasav hi amakdish edro hi machlekas. It doesn't make a difference. Makdish stam is a machlekas. Makdish stam, the question is whether makdish stam it's by default Bedek HaBayis or whatever is Muchel Mizbeach is Muchel Mizbeach. So it doesn't make a difference what what is Makdish, whether it's only his aid there or it's his aid also on the Chasim. The same Achlokas with Shina Rabbi Yeshua would apply across the board. Now the Gemara says a further thing named Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Chuna b'shem, actually, first Rav Chuna b'shem Rav and Rav Vosa named Rabbi Yochanan. Kachi ben Akabai podin tmimi yotzim chulin. Kachi ben Akabai redeemed it even though they were tmimim, right? Which you're not supposed to do. And which tmimim is supposed to be makdish the mizbech. But if you're makdish ben Akabai and you play them tmimim, they got l'chulin. Now, next line in the Mishnah in the Gemara is everybody has a lot of difficulty with because it brings out a Mishnah which doesn't seem to say what it says. I looked into Shikli Yosef on this one, who always goes with the most simple shot. I haven't used him very much as Masechta, even though I used in the past, as I mentioned when we began the Masechta. But I wanted to see what he says here. And he barrels through it, which is, I think, the way to deal with it. Masisa Amar Kain. There's a Mishnah by Rabbi Yochanan. It says, it says in the Mishnah there that where is it? The Mishnah is doesn't say here which Mishnah is in the Mishnah is. Parak base, Mishnah base. Okay. I think that's what it is. What is going on? Yeah. So it says the blood of Chava mutar chab b'yom. Now that Mishnah, it's not talking about a case of kachi berekabai sheniftu. It's talking about kachi and niftu tmimim. It's talking about kachim shekodam mum kavua sekdeshon. So about kachim where there was a mum kavua and then before you were makdish them. So therefore, of course, mum kavua before ekdish, of course it's not full ekdish. Therefore, it the vlados, the progeny and chalav and the milk of the animal's mutter after its bidyon. Under normal circumstances, however, we don't say that. The normal circumstances, even if it had got a mum, even as a mum, and you were put on a mum, the vlad and chalav remain also. It's only the animal, the basar itself, which is mutter, not the vlad and chalav. So either that, a very different gears in the Mishnah, or there torturous shatim here and the other mefarshim. So Chadatin is a way of trying to explain it, which article brings down. And then Korban Eda says it's b'tmiya, and Reb Chaim Kanevsky says b'chlato about a different Mishnah. There are all sorts of ways of dealing with it. But the simple understanding is that I say about the Mishnah B'cheres, and it says they had either a different gears in the Mishnah, or it added a brisa, which said something parallel to the Mishnah, even though it says that the Mastisa Amra Kain, it's not necessarily referring to a Mishnah, referring to a Brisa. It says, and it's about better Koche, better Kabais. And they're redeemed. And the Vlad Chalav is mutter. So you see, you can redeem them to Mimim, and they become Chulin Gwarn. Otherwise, the Vlad Chalav will not be mutter. So Bechizka said, no, not necessarily. To put down here, the Kral change Girsa and Reb Chaim does go with this change of Girsa here. So we're going to go with the change of Girsa as well. Tipata Shepedon Tmimim, instead of saying Tipata Shepedon Humamu, it should say Tipata Shephumamu Pedon. That the attack of the Gadam, this better Gabais where Gadamum. And Chaim, it's different than Kachim Mizbech. Kachim Mizbech, if they got a mum, after you were makdish them and you were playing to them, the chalav and vlad is not mutter. Only the bus is mutter. But the kachim bedekapayis, which got a mum, even after you makdish got a bias, you redeem them. And since the level, even though when you get in the bedekapayis, it should become kachim mizbech, they don't achieve that level of kedusha, I guess, unless they're definitely designated to actually be formally designated to be korbanos, and therefore the vlad and chalav is mutter. It says the potter again shehumamu upedon, that they got a mum you play them. There's a Mishnah which says that this, and here we should read the Korban. Beperek Zayin the Tmura Mishnah Halep Amar Kain. Now Nosim Yesh Kachim Mizeh Chulei. There's difference between Kachim Mizbech and Kachim Berek by Kachim Mizbech, Vlad Mechalban also Char Pidyonim. The Vlad Mechalav is also after Pidyon, even if they got a mum. Mashem but Kachim Berek Bayis and Shekad Mekdesh L'Muman. If the hekdesh came before the mum, hachanami here too. The niftu tamim u'humamu yatzil chulin. So they have this, even though they're different than koche berek abayis, koche mizbech. Then I'm not sure if I read the 100% correctly there. Well, no, I did. Even though by koche say v'ladacham oslach b'dyonim, because you're berek abayis, we're called to make the or also. Or no, I did know. I read it correctly, but the it's not with the gears of the gra. So no, I should because gears of the gra. No, it says differently. Okay, so I want to take back my reading the carbonator. So my sisa amra kain, and now I'm going to read with the carbon the gra. Vladim bechelban aser. The Vlad and Chalav is also Achar Pidyonim. It's Masha, and then the Gra adds in the words Masha Enkim Beberek Abayis. Okay, so then the going with the Gra's Girsa, so that is explicit that the Kodem by when you get to Mum by Kochem Mizbech, it's still after you deem it, it's also the Vlad and Chola remain osir. By Mashenk Kochem Berek Abayis, they become mutter. I guess commentators learn the same way. You're just adding the words into the just commentary as opposed to the text itself. Yeah, so in any event, it comes out the same way, the carbonator. So again, reading the Gemara inside, Chisa said Masnisa Omar Kain. This Mishnah in Tmura tells us this halacha that Vladan B'chelban is also lacha b'dyoiner. That's by regular kochim Mizbech, Masha Ein Kain Berek Abayis. That's the Mishnah in Tmura. Lam Rav Omar Aleph Omar Beis. Right? Let's say here where. Is it actually a Mishnah? Is that a brisa? No, it is a Mishnah. Also doesn't mean now it is, but it's 7th parak of Tzmura. Okay. Says more further. Rabbi Chizkiah b'shem Rabbi Yosef. He's saying because a kosher berek abayis shetpedon tmimim yotzil chun. No, he goes back. We go back and we say that they're yotzil chun, right? Despite the fact that we just rejected the raya, that's from the and we said that that's where there was a mum. No, but it's true. You play the yotzil chun because in tema lo yotzil chun. You're going to say, how they're not going to go out the chulin. Hey, koche mizbech chulin, koche berek abayis. How do these koche berek abayis, since that's koche berek abayis, become koche mizbech? It's got to be a two-step process. First, they have to go out the chulin, and then be consecrated as koche berek mizbech. And it must be the redeemed tamimim because bali mumin kedushas berech halalem. Does the bali mumin has get kedushas mizbech? We aren't bringing them as karbanos. Actually, they not talking about Bali Mumin. We say explicitly in Mishnah, right? That Skarim Mimarchu Tzarchi Olos the Kevas Mimarchu Tzarchi Shleimim. They become karbanos themselves. So some of the Farshim learn that the next part of the Gemara comes to refute the Raya of Reb Chizkiah, Reb Chaim and others, Reb Chaim and the article in the Imchilvik Gersos Biurim learns the Talmud Rashba, Shnei Moshe, Chaim Chati, and Reb Chaim Kanievsky, although Chati is not clear how it's a reputation. It's at least not to me. But the Carbon Ada learns it's a new issue, and the Mechal Hamayim also learns it's a new issue. So and the Art Scroll also learns it's a new issue. So in its actual text, so I think we're going to go with that shot. And I think that we really can say without, even though the Gemara doesn't say this, I think it's a double portion to say that yes, your makashim the bega bites they're benifted to be chulin, but not really chulin. Only al manasa to become kachim mizbeach. In other words, it's kind of I think it might be like a kind of a halacha mashmisina, perhaps. Although I'm not sure, but it's very similar. It's lay based in masna, but I think it's probably a level of halacha mashmisina that kach bedagabais when you makdish a behema to mean bedagabais kach nemer halacha. Although it's not here explicit in Gemara, but it seems it's ungenumen. It's a Torah pashut that yes, then it's shunted in whatever way it has to be shunted, and that entails a temporary reversion to chulin on a limited basis, kind of auf tanai. So then it reverts to chulin for that limited basis, in order to then immediately become hektish as kachim mizbech. So I think that. That's the Mahalach be something along those lines, and I'm sure in some Lumdish Sefer it says something like that. Okay, then the Gemara goes on and says a new thing. Bali Mumin. If you're Makdish about Mum, to Kedushim Mizbech, it's Chalalim, Kedushim Mizbech Chalalim. Now, how can that be? Right? It's not. It's about mum. Can't be brought as an animal. As a korban. Like the mila, to what purpose? Like avoida. No, still it's a avoida. Even an animal which is about mum, which can't itself be a korban. If your makdash is the kedusha is there, it's still because the isser of gizav avoida, and that remains evidently even after you after redeem it. They'll still become because obviously when it's hektish. So a semila, but even if you redeem it, it still remains also because of avoda. The Korban Eda says the ilu kachim ben agabayis mutar because of avoda. You can sell the giza and avoda, but kachim mizbech are asurin not allowed to do giza avoda under any circumstances. Okay, it says hifrish lekeva olaso. You set aside a keva for an ola, which you're not allowed to do. It has to be a zachar. Ulepischol also has to be a male. Ulashamo, all these have to be males. Also tmura. Even though it's not even though the kedusha is not appropriate, it still makes tmura. Okay. If you set aside a zachar for the keva for an ola, it makes tmura. Pischol shama eno set tmura. Not if you set aside a for a Pesach Hashem, that kedusha is not a full kedusha. Can't make it tmura. And Gemara is going to explain. Rishim Yehu Omer Mishum Rabbi Shimon L'Lasa Pesach Hashem. Actually, should be saying Rabbi Shimon L'Lasa Pesach Hashem Eno Set Tmura. No, for all three, it doesn't make tmura. Okay, so so explaining Rabbi Shimon himself, not Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda, name Rabbi Shimon himself. Or maybe at the time Rabbi Shimon, why does Rabbi Shimon hold that by an ola works? The cave of kshela ba'ola, because a female can be brought as an olas oaf. So therefore, we see there's some kedusha for olas oaf by which works, and therefore it's enough to be kedusha l'gabe tmura. So now Rabbi Yochanan goes on and he gives the reason for Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda's pshat Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yochanan, time of Rabbi Shimon, it should say, it doesn't say explicitly tomorrow, but it should say Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda, who says that no, it doesn't work, even for Ola. The kedusha is not sufficient to make tmura. Why is that? I'm going to go with the girsa of the Gra here, which is evidently the same, similar to what it says in the Bavli in Tmura, Daf Yutes. And of course, the Talking Chadatin goes with the same girsa as well. And in this case, so is the art scroll, and I think the Reb Chaim also. Yeah, he changed the girsa as well. If this for still going to the Gemara itself, if it means knows internally, an Osham itself, you change just the years of the Osham. Osham is supposed to be during its first year of life, and you took a woman in its second year of life. Instead, it doesn't make proper kedusha, right? So, according to Rabbi Shimon. So, in Mino Cholokolav, it says it's not Kodesh. Koshke min Misheno. Goes without saying, right, that min Misheno it doesn't work. As we're going to learn. Titnan, we learned, and here it says Kodatani, The Talmud Chachamim says Kitznan. And here we're going to go with the Groz Girsa. Oshem ben Shana. Yeah, Oshem was supposed to be within his first year of life. Vehevi ben Stein. And say he made it one which is 2 years old. Now this depends on the Oshem actually. So an Oshem ben Shana, as Talmud Chachamim says, Oshem ben Shana, Oshem ben Shtei Shonim, the Oshem Gzeosim Il Shiv Charufa Dichsemem Ayil. Those are also Oshem. Those are Oshem ben Shtei Shonim. I think I read it wrong. Oshem ben Shtei Shonim is Oshem Gzelos Milos Shiruva. It says Ayil, which means grown up. Oshem ben Shana is Oshem Nazir Mitzora. The Ksibu Keves says ram, which is a lamb, which is younger. So Oshem ben Shana ben Stein ben Shana kosher. It's kosher carbon. El Sholu B'Alim Shem Chayva. That's Tanakama. It says it's kosher, but it's not the owner is not yotze with it. Okay, that's like I said, Tanakama. And Tanakama continues again. It's kosher. El Sholu B'Alim Shem Chayva. It was not yotze. He's not yotze his obligation with it. Rabbi Shimon Omer. Rabbi Shimon says the Chaim does not change everything here. It changes some of the words. But I'm going, like I said, with the Groz Ger. So Shimon Kotzman and Kedoshim. He says they're not Kadosh. Even though it's the same min. But if you're not, if it's supposed to be one and you brought two, or two you brought one, Shimon and Kedoshim. So therefore, we see that if min b'mino, it's Osham and it's the right gender, it's not Kadosh. So therefore, if you brought the wrong gender, it's certainly not Kadosh, and therefore it doesn't make Torah. Okay? All right, now Gemara is going to go on and discuss this further, but we already got Salam and Gimel and Alf, so we'll stop here for today.